What's up, NFL fans? It's NFL Night back again with our weekly recap on the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at what happened in Week 12, recapping every game. A lot of very good games, including the two Thanksgiving ones. So let's jump right into it. On Thanksgiving morning, we had a great matchup between the Houston Texans and the Detroit Lions. At the beginning, the Texans had a little lead and it was going back and forth, but then in the second half, Deshaun Watson took control with two deep passes to Will Fuller, sealing the deal for the Texans, and they get the win. They move to 4-7 as they win 41-25. The other Thanksgiving game was between the football team and the Cowboys. The Washington football team and the Cowboys, pretty much the same story, except the Cowboys offense really didn't get going, and Washington football team's defensive line got after Andy Dalton just as I had predicted, and Alex Smith got the job done. Montez Sweat pick six, and football team is in really good position in the NFC East as they move to 4-7 as they win 41-16. Next, we have the Arizona Cardinals narrowly losing to the New England Patriots 17-20. This was a pretty disappointing game for Kyler Murray and the Cardinals as they were projected to win this one by a decent margin. As for Cam Newton and the Patriots, he played a decent game, played pretty good, got the job done. In the end, they were able to get a last-minute game-winning field goal. So the Patriots could sneak into a playoff spot, and the Cardinals are slowly declining as they lost to the Patriots. Next, we have the Los Angeles Chargers losing to the Buffalo Bills 17-27. Anthony Lynn needs to get fired. He's not coaching very well. He's just putting this team the Chargers have so much talent, and there's no reason why they should be 3-8. The coaching, after that long bomb to Tyron Johnson, they decide to run. It's just really, really poor coaching, and I really, really think Anthony Lynn needs to go. He needs to be fired. He is the root of all these close losses and mismanagement of coaching. As for the Bills, they had a lot of good trickery, and their defense stepped up, only holding Herbert to 17 points, which is very good. But both games from both of these quarterbacks wasn't their best games, but Josh Allen got enough to get done, and Herbert threw for over 300 yards. Next, we have a pretty ugly game between the Browns and the Jags. This game, I feel like Cleveland should have won by more, but they just missed on opportunities. Baker Mayfield had a decent game, but the Jacksonville Jaguars are on a downhill slope, losing the last 10 games. Maybe they want to lose games, but the Cleveland Browns are 8-3, and no matter if they beat the Jags clean or not, they are 8-3, so they are a big contender in the AFC right now. Next, you have the Carolina Panthers narrowly losing to the Minnesota Vikings 27-28. This game had two crazy Jeremy Chin fumble returns for touchdowns, two back-to-back touchdowns from a defensive player, which is just ridiculous. As for the Vikings, I feel like without those, they would have easily beat the Panthers, but those made it really close. BB had a clutch touchdown at the end after a really bad punt return fumble, so he made up for that. And the Minnesota Vikings also could creep into the NFC playoff picture as they're at 5-6 right now. Next, we have a not-so-good game between the New York Giants and the Cincinnati Bengals. Daniel Jones was injured and is expected to miss a few weeks. As for the Bengals, you can clearly see that their offense is very dysfunctional without Joe Burrow, which really proves how much he fixed this Bengals offense. I feel like the New York Giants have a good shot at winning this division, but I feel like right now they're not going to. They have to play the Seahawks next week, but it's all up for grabs. Without Daniel Jones, I feel like they're not going to be so well, but they got the job done and they're number one in their division right now. Next, we have the AFC South matchup as the Titans demolish the Colts 45-26. This game was all Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown and Brian Tannehill. This Titans offense just absolutely exploded in the first half, scoring 35 points in the first half, which is just ridiculous. As for the Colts, their defense was just totally uncharacteristic of them. They never allowed that much points in a game. Never mind the first half. At halftime, the Titans had pretty much already won the game. So Phillip Rivers, they tried their best to get back in it, but it was just too far at that point. The Titans are really solidifying themselves as the first in the AFC South, and they're looking good, and Derrick Henry just cannot be stopped. Next, we have the Miami Dolphins beating the New York Jets 20-3. Ryan Fitzpatrick had to play this game, which Tua Tagovailoa got injured, and that's kind of concerning to me. Hopefully these injuries don't nag Tua for much longer because he looks like to be a promising star in this league. As for the Jets, 3 points is very disappointing, but they need Trevor Lawrence. Next, we have the Raiders getting absolutely slapped by the Falcons 40-6. This game was very uncharacteristic of the Raiders. They hung with the Chiefs and almost beat the defending Super Bowl champions, and then they just go to Atlanta and get clapped by 34 points. This just doesn't really make sense to me. I don't think anybody expected this, but I think what was really the root of it is they didn't convert on the fourth downs that they did. They couldn't get in the red zone and score touchdowns, and their defense just couldn't stop Matt Ryan and Calvin Ridley, and the Falcons just took care of business, and the Raiders lose a game that they really shouldn't have. Next, we have Taysom Hill and the Saints absolutely destroying the Denver Broncos 31-3. This game was pretty much a gimme for the Saints after they realized there's going to be no Denver Bronco quarterbacks. Taysom Hill didn't really play a great game, but he rushed for 2 touchdowns. I feel like Taysom Hill could be the future for the Saints. He just needs to get his passing attack, and if he grooms that, his dual threat is just insane. As for the Broncos, they obviously need a quarterback. You can't win a game with 1 completion. But the rushing attack was decent, but it had to be really good if they even had a chance. But the Saints are still at the top of the NFC with Taysom Hill leading the way. Next, we have a really good game. The Kansas City Chiefs beat the Buccaneers 27-24. Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes are just insane. 203 receiving yards in 1 quarter is just ridiculous. He ended up with 269 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. As for Patrick Mahomes, he throws for over 450 passing yards. Patrick Mahomes is just so good right now. As for the Buccaneers, they're just not looking too good. They were able to come back, but I feel like they should be able to do better in the future, and they need to pick it up. Next game, we have the San Francisco 49ers beating the Los Angeles Rams in a close one, 23-20. The 49ers, they had a last-minute game-winning field goal. The Los Angeles Rams, for some reason, they just don't perform against the 49ers very well. They play good, and then they just play the 49ers, and then they just play bad. I feel like they should be playing much better against them. They're still a contender and a really good team in the NFC. But Jared Goff just keeps making these bad games, and it's kind of concerning. So if they want to go far in the playoffs, he needs to not do that. Next, we have the Chicago Bears losing to the Green Bay Packers 25-41. Aaron Rodgers pretty much just owned this game from the beginning. It was a little close, but in the end, it wasn't really. Aaron Rodgers threw for 4 touchdowns as they pretty much destroyed the Chicago Bears 41-25. I'm pretty sure this is what we expected from the Green Bay Packers, but this is just so disappointing for the Chicago Bears. 5 straight losses. Thinking that they were 5-1 and could win the division, and now they're here is kind of bad. But the Green Bay Packers took care of business, and they're top of the NFC. As for the Bears, they really need some help on offense. In Monday night game, we have the Seattle Seahawks beating the Philadelphia Eagles 23-17. Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf really took care of this one. A couple early 4th down fails kept the Seattle Seahawks from scoring more points. As for the Philadelphia Eagles, Carson Wentz just can't thrive in his environment with a garbage offensive line and garbage receivers. I feel like Carson Wentz, he's playing bad, but I don't think it's his fault. It's partially his fault, don't get me wrong, but he's really trying to live in this environment that is super bad for him right now. The only way they're going to win is if they really help him around him. But they still have a really good shot at the division, so I don't think it's time to give up. I don't think you put in Jalen Hurts. You have a better chance to win with Carson Wentz, but their offense just doesn't look very well. But the Seahawks, they move up and take control of the NFC West on Monday Night Football. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers by the Super Bowl, and every subscriber means a lot to me. If you enjoy my videos, you can check out my last video over there. And my next video is going to be NFL Week 13 Top 10 Power Rankings. So I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya!